Hi.
How are you?
I barely made it because I was running and I got carried away. I had a social distancing meetup with
Yeah.
some girlfriends by the water in Dumbo in Brooklyn. And I was running and I was like, what am I going to wear? And I'm literally in my running tracks.
Yeah, you completely forgot about it. Oh my God, I'm not going to make it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. It is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we could always say you were outside giving your yoga classes, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what you usually do anyways. So
Yes,
at this
exactly.
time, more or less. So you were outside doing your yoga classes. Well, as I usually say, hello, welcome everyone, because when we start with the questions, I hate to it's not that I hate it, but I don't like to interrupt the interview just to say hi to the people. So hello to everyone. Now we will say bye to everyone when the time comes. Unfortunately, it will be sooner than later. And I would love just to start off and ask you all these interesting questions and see what the interview comes out.
Yes, absolutely.
So, good afternoon to all and welcome again to Tell Me Over Coffee. Our guest today is half German and half Iranian. She was born in Cologne, North Rhine-Westphalia, West Germany, not too many years ago. You can see. She has been acting since she was 9 years old in her native Germany, where she first starred in the German cop series Tatort, alongside German star Goetz George, followed by other roles in TV series like, let me see, this is in German, Polizeiruf and Kommissar Rex. Polizeiruf and Kommissar Rex.
Yes.
She has trained in HB Studios, Scene Study and Shakespeare Masterclass with Uta Hagen, Actors Studio New York, working finalist, Susan Baston Studios, Ariane Mushkin, thank you, at the Théâtre du Soleil, Erhan Steifel, mask work at the Théâtre du Soleil, Stage School of Dance and Drama in Hamburg. Wow. Oh my God, you've done a lot.
This is gonna, you can skip this whole thing. Let's just start talking.
People like to know what you've done. They're really excited. I mean, people have been excited. I mean, especially some friends of mine, they said, I'm going to be interviewing Nicole Ansari. Really? Yes. So I just have to say this.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you're not less than all my other guests, and I have been saying things about them. So, good things, always. Our guest, besides speaking German, which is her mother tongue, she also is fluent in both English and French. After getting married to Scottish actor Brian Cox, 2020, I have to say, a Golden Globe winner as Best Actor, and having
he just got announced and had an Emmy nomination today.
Really?
Yes.
Wow! Oh my God! Tu l'embrasses pour moi.
Oui.
And having 2 kids with him, Orson and Torian, who are young, handsome men now. They are no longer little kids. But I mean, they look like your brothers when they're next to you. I mean, I don't know how you do this, but oh my God. You're going to have to tell me secrets. Well, she split her time between the US and the UK because, she was working one side or the other, mostly television in the UK, in Philip Saville's The Biographer, and in the US, most notably as a recurring character in HBO original series Deadwood. Our guest has a second name. She is also known as Shandy because she started practicing yoga in her teens and has studied various branches of yoga and dance. She is trained and certified in pre- and postnatal yoga, Kundalini yoga, yoga therapy, Yoga Alliance, KRI, and YAIT. I don't know if I said it right. The International Associations of Yoga Therapists, and has recently completed her S-Factor training and is currently teaching online. I see her every day. I don't practice. I should, but I see her almost every day. She is known in film for, these are the latest, is Son of the South, directed by Barry Alexander as Professor Kleiner. Last Moment of Clarity, directed by James and Colin Crisell as Jean Lawrence. After Arabia, directed by Mark J.T. Griffin as Sarah Lawrence. Making the Day, directed by Michael Canzoniero as Kaya. In 2019, Before It Was True, directed by Dana Offenbach as Charlotte. Remember Me, which by this little we were not together, directed by my friend Martin Rosete as Alicia. And there are loads of things that this lady has done. And I would love just to jump into the questions and have her talk and talk and talk. So if you want to know more, you'll be able to see it in her IMDb, which I'll be putting later. Now, let's go to just inviting you and welcoming you, Nicole Ansari-COX.
Thank you. Thank you, Yassmine. Thank you.
So, Nicole, when did you hear the calling for acting?
It's very simple. It started, I was 5 years old and in kindergarten, and I was deemed too wild to participate. So they said she needs another year at home. Okay. And because I was fighting with the boys, I was in kindergarten for a week and then got sent back home. And my sister was in kindergarten, and she's a year younger than me. So I guess I must have been 5.5. Anyway, she was there like half a year later or something. And they did a performance of Rumpelstiltskin. And we were sitting there, and I would probably have been diagnosed with ADHD today. In those days, they just called me Bouncy Ball because I was always dancing. I was always on my headstand, handstand, cartwheels. I mean, I was all over the place. And the teacher came up to me before the performance and said, Nicole, we don't have a prop for the fire. Could you do me the honor and play the fire? And I didn't know what that meant, but she said, can you sit there and just wave your hands up and down? And I went, sure. And so I got there. Obviously, the parents all went, oh, how cute, and all applauded. And I remember that moment when they applauded and I was seen. I was not trying to be seen. I was seen. And I thought, this is it. Like, whatever this was, I didn't know performance existed. I said, this is it. And then it happened again when I saw Casablanca. I said to my mom, must have been around that same year, when I grow up, I want to do what she does. Because I thought, first of all, I would wear these fabulous clothes that she was wearing. I would be in Casablanca, and I would get Rick.
Yeah. The best prize. Yeah, you would get him. I mean, he would have been a bit old to get him at that time, but still, I mean, we all dream. I mean, for us at that age, we just think that he's still gonna be young.
I know, but it's so strange, isn't it, that women, like, they don't look. Her husband, I forgot the name of the actor now, is much more handsome conventionally. He is tall and lean and handsome and beautiful and kind. And who did I get drawn to at age 5? The guy
Humphrey Bogart.
You know,
I mean,
Humphrey
he
Bogart.
wasn't really of that time. He wasn't the the sharpest or the good looking guy.
No, but he had sex appeal.
Yeah, but it's like my mom says, you wanted an ugly one so no one could take it away from you.
Yes.
That's the best thing. Yeah.
That is not true, though. That is not true.
That's cool. That's cool. You've worked in theater, TV, film. I mean, you name it. You've worked doing about a bit of everything. Which one or which ones do you enjoy most? Which one do you enjoy most? Film, TV, theater?
You know what? It's very difficult to answer that because for me, they're almost different, different professions. or really different branches. I'm theater trained. I definitely come from the theater, so I'm what the Brits call a proper actor. Um, and I love the theater, and it is absolutely, um, it is unique, that experience of having the communion with the audience in the now, live. There is nothing that can take that away. I'm not talking about the applause, but about that field of energy that is created when a performance is going well and people are getting it, and people are getting something to think about, to feel. They cry, they laugh, they're with you. It is exhilarating. In film is much more zen, because in film it's not so much about projecting out. Yes, you have to tap into the emotions and be true and all of that, but you have to project out to reach the person in the last row. In film, it's all about the magnetism you create with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And about stillness. So it is very zen. And for me, film for the longest time was mystery, because of that energy that I have. It was like being still, not doing anything was really hard, because my nervous system was so overactive. Once I understood, and once I got into yoga, meditation, etc., and then later on hemp oil, CBD, which calmed my nervous system, it became within reach to me to say, oh, this is a beautiful experience, because you make love to the camera.
That's it.
And that is something so intimate. It's an intimate experience. Sage is also an intimate experience, because you are opening up. You're opening up yourself. You're opening up your physical body, your emotional body, your psychic, your psychological body, and you're sharing it with others. And hopefully you're tapping into something in you that then becomes universal for the others to experience in their own way, whatever they are taking out of the story. Same thing with film. You don't know, you're putting something out, you don't know how it's affecting. I remember the first show I ever did was The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. And it was about, a lesbian relationship between the fashion designer, big fashion designer, and I played Karin, the kind of dumb model. Or wannabe model. She's not even like perfect enough to be a model, like the wannabe model. I want to be in the papers. And after the performance, this woman came up to me and she said, I hate you. I hate you. It's because of you that my girlfriend left me. Because somehow she connected to the flimsy character that, who went out with a man, she went out with a black man and made her girlfriend jealous, etc. So she said, it's because of you that she left me. So things can happen through storytelling that affect people in a profound way. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think theater, it affects in a direct and instant way. In film, it's just, okay, they will be seeing you, they can be, it can affect them, but it's not going to be a direct way. So it's not something that's going to be affecting you directly in that moment.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, what chances are that someone can stop you in the street? Oh, you remember that film you did about 20 years ago? Oh, it changed my life. Oh, did it change it good or bad? Depending on what your answer, I'm going to be happy or not. But it is true that it wouldn't affect you in the same way that right when you finish and someone just comes up to say, oh, by the way, I liked it, but this, and this happened to me because of this. Then it's oh my God, did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel it was your fault in some way, or when that happened?
I was,
did you feel guilty?
Young. I was 19 years old.
Well, that's the point. You were very young. You were very vulnerable.
So I did feel guilty, and I went to the director and I said, this happened. And she said, we want these things to happen because that means that a change has occurred in the person. And if that woman left the other woman, it means that she didn't want to be in the relationship anyway. She just realized it through your character, whatever rebel that you were playing, that she has that rebel nature, and her truth is not to be with that person, you know.
No, true, 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 true. Okay. You when the well, you started a bit, well, I mean, some months in the last year, and I think it was Sinners. And but you were still with when the COVID, you were still with the play Sinners, right?
Oh, it was so crazy. We went to London in February to rehearse, and then we were running the show from mid-February, I guess, until mid-March, until the 13th of March. That was the last show, or maybe the 12th. And yeah, the 12th, because on the 13th I came back. And COVID kind of had reared its ugly head about, I would say, 10 days before, really, that people were aware and were like, what's going on? But it was first something that was happening in China. Then we heard of stuff in America happening. And in London, the idea, the feeling was still like, come on, you're not gonna hug me anymore, you're not gonna, like, we just kept going. And in the beginning, I have to say, bad, we made jokes about it. And I said, come on. And we had so many people coming to the theater, so many friends. So I would see them afterwards. So there was absolutely no regulations or anything, because nobody believed that it was true. That it was this virus that could potentially kill you, and you could spread it, and so on. It was only in the last week that the numbers of attendance went down. We were one of the last theaters to close in London. So the West End, I think, closed the day before. And we were literally going day by day. Can we stay open? Can we stay open? And, we had an audience. So because it was a great success, the play was called Sinners by Israeli writer Joshua Sobol. And it's a very potent play about feminine suppression, basically, about the patriarchy, and a woman who defies the patriarchy and is willing to die for it. And a lot of people found resonance in this play, and it's also about relationships.
Yeah, true.
So it's about a woman being stoned to death for adultery in a Middle Eastern country. It's not named which country, but we know which countries still practice stoning. 18 different countries in the world still practice stoning, all Muslim countries. And it's about relationship. And people saw their own relationship in this. It was incredible, truly. And we always had discussions with the audience. We always said, anybody who wants to stay, because we knew that people were so shocked by the theme and so shocked this was a thing still, and so affected by it emotionally. They needed to vent and talk about it. Yeah.
This I read a little bit about the play and the story. Well, I'm also from a Muslim origin, and I know how things are. My country of origin is less close. I mean, mentally close. But well, when I left Morocco, it was less. Now it's a bit more. I don't know. Instead of going forward, they go back. Yes, I was born in Morocco. My father was from Tangier.
Oh.
I'm part Moroccan, part Spanish, part Turkish, French, Portuguese, just a huge mixture. But I was born there, and well, I left Morocco when I was about 23 years old, and it was quite different than what it is now, to be honest. So there are things that I'm not used to anymore of seeing, or have never lived them. And I do understand that many people can relate. Not only in the fact of what the play is about, but also, like, as you said, it's about relationship. I mean, you can metaphorically be stoned because you are in another relationship, and it doesn't have to be physically. Even in European country or even in the States, you can be metaphorically stoned because of what you're doing. And I think that maybe that's even worse than the physical thing, because the physical thing, if you're Muslim, if you live in Iran, if you live in Saudi Arabia, you already know this exists and this is what can happen to you. But I think it's worse in open countries, and mentally open, cultural wise open, that this can happen metaphorically, that people can stone you, can lead you to the side.
I wouldn't say worse. I don't think there is much worse than
No.
being buried up to your waist and being stoned and dying a slow death with the vitriol of men throwing stones at you. But what in our Western society, we have this idea of we are free, but really the undertone is still trickling down from the patriarch, thousands of years of patriarchy that is ingrained in our heads. A woman who is in her power, in her sexual and sensual power, immediately is a slut. The man doing the same thing is, he's cool.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Yeah, he's a ladies' man.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Yeah. That's the way it is. And it's a shame, because, I mean, we're in the 21st century and this still exists. I mean, you can't be free to speak your mind, or I don't know, if you are a powerful woman, well, you're a control freak. You want to control everything.
Yeah.
A guy, if he's a powerful, no, I mean, he doesn't control. He knows what he's doing. You have to listen to him.
Yeah.
What?
He's
so
powerful.
We can't be powerful.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now, the play Sinners. I know it has it's a very emotionally, deep play. It's a very emotional, deep story that you have to more or less, this is how I would feel, control it, that it doesn't control me, but I'm still in control of my role. What has it brought you professionally and personally?
Well, first of all, it was the first time and the last time so far that I was directed by my husband, and in 22 years that has never happened. And what we found is that working together works like a dream. I never feel offended when I get feedback from him. His direction is pristine, intellectually so astute, and his direction of language, because I was buried up to my waist for most of the play, except for a dream sequence at the end where I dance. But up until then, all the audience was getting from me was my voice and my eyes, my expression in my face. But you can't think filmically, because in film, the expression of the face, you have to actually relax more. Here, what was hard and was maybe the greatest challenge in my acting so far is there are moments in which the lovers, because it's she gets stoned by her lover. He can save himself by throwing the first stone, and he's collecting the stones. So that's the premise. But when the conversation heated up, and there was like, you betrayed me, no, who betrayed me, like when it's normally, when you go into a state like that, you use the whole body because you need that much to express it. I could not do that. So in the beginning, what happened when we first did it in the States, my whole body tensed up and my voice became coarse, and I just didn't know how to express it without my arms, without the use of gestures, my whole body. And Brian always brought it back to the voice. He said, you have to put everything into language. Everything needs to be in the voice. Every subtle emotion, the rage, everything needs to be in the voice. So that's what I had to do. And it was very hard. But once I got it, like it clicked, it went, okay, the penny has dropped. So I can be still and I can just with the voice convey, and obviously the eyes and everything, convey the story, convey the emotions, what was going on. Also in the beginning, I'm covered with a hood.
Yeah.
And the audience, as the audience is coming in, I didn't crawl into the whole last minute. I wanted it that way because it permitted me to get into a state of claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of my gift to the story and to the women who go through hardship and ordeals. My offering, I thought, that's the least I can do. They suffered so much. Let me suffer in that half an hour while people come in. And I had to learn how to breathe very, very slowly and lightly, because otherwise you could see the fluttering of the
Yeah.
breath.
Wow.
So there were a lot of things that I learned in that performance that will just infuse everything that I'm doing now.
But did your yoga help you in those
Absolutely.
moments?
Oh yes, pranayama, which is yogic breath control. It's conscious breathing. Is something that has helped me throughout my life, but in this, it really helped me when I was under the hood, and also not only under the hood, but the breath with the way I delivered the lines, etc. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, like you said, this play is directed by your husband Brian Cox. Do you find it? Do you both find? Did you find it difficult to separate personal from professional?
No, not at all. We had the best time. We also had the best time because our children were not with us. We love our children, but teenage children can be hard to be around. And so we were in London. We had our little place in Primrose Hill. We had the park. It was just fine. In the evening, we had dinner together, just the two of us. It was truly a sublime time. And I don't know what's going on with the theater, but it's heartbreaking to think that theater is maybe the least, or live performance is the least accessible and the least likely to come back very fast, very soon. So it's a blessing that we were able to do something. And Brian did a show on Broadway just before that. He closed in December, where he played Lyndon B. Johnson in The Great Society. And so in a way, we kind of capped our experience before that was all taken away, which feels a little bit better than being a struggling actor and not working at all, and even the chances of doing it are going away.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, I do hope that when everything is calm and back into place, and okay, the like they call it here, the new normality, which I don't even know what that means. I just think it would be so great if you guys could come and do the play here in Spain, even in English, because there are many English speaking Spanish and foreigners who live here, and I think it could be feasible. I would love to see it. I mean, it would be just so wow, wow, just to be there and because I mean, I've seen films like Sally Field that she did it. She did an exceptional role when she did Not Without My Daughter. It was just so wow. And her husband's Iranian. They meet in the States because they studied together. He becomes an important doctor, and then all of a sudden, when the Shah, and he goes back because his dad is sick, and he takes his wife, who's an American Catholic, and their daughter, and all of a sudden she starts wearing a shadow and she's locked up, and it's beautiful. It's very, very hard. It's a very hard film, but it's a very beautiful. She did it exceptionally. It was just over.
I think I know the movie.
It's a great movie, and obviously, I mean, coming from a Muslim background, and not in my case, but cases that I do know, I just find it it's a very it's a good shout out, right, to situation that still in the 21st century still exists, and it
Absolutely,
shouldn't exist
absolutely.
in any way,
Yeah,
be it
yeah.
metaphorically or physically. It shouldn't exist. I know that you like and try whenever you can to give voice to those women who don't have. You, as a yoga instructor, um, how has all this helped you with these women who don't have voices? Um, uh, how can you canalize everything without taking the problems home, like I say, without taking it home, just leaving it right at the door. And,
Yeah,
once I'm in, this is my house, this is my life, and
yeah.
I forget about everything else.
This is one of the great questions for every actor. And I think it's a question that is really underrated. People don't think about that. They go, oh, but it's just learning lines. And, you think about, your pet dying and there you cry and, oh, they have a great life. And then they go on the red carpet and they get awards. And the work that goes into creating a character where you use your own emotions, you use your own body, you use your own, everything. We get taught how to get into character,
But not
into
how to go
a
out.
character, but nobody teaches you how to get out. So I'm actually, right now, I'm working on a system and putting together what has helped me in my life for actors to get out of character. Because I have worked with too many actors who either went crazy, turned to drink, turned to drugs, or committed suicide. Lots. Like too many in my life. In every country that I worked, there's at least one that I worked with very closely for a long time that committed suicide. Germany, France, not in England, I didn't, Austria, Switzerland, and here, so in the States. So this is a real problem, that it's not being acknowledged, because I see acting as shamanic art. It's in the shamanic arts, you work with other forces, you work, with entities, ancestors, etc. When we're tapping into a character, we're calling upon spirits, we're calling upon in historical figures. We talk about being kissed by the muse. Where does the muse live? So this is something that plagued me for a long time, and I would literally live for a while almost the life of the character and over-identify, because I studied with Uda Hagen, who was not method, but I also studied with Susan Batson and at the actor studio. At the actor studio, you very much identify with the character, and we even had exercises where half of the day we were the character. So we would walk around New York City, being Baby Doll from Tiger Tail. That is not healthy, to walk around like a little baby doll, and could potentially be harmful. I experienced things like when I was playing Agnes of God in John Peelmeyer's play. I played a young nun who basically gets impregnated by a young priest, but she doesn't see it as that. She sees it as the spirit, in impregnating her. She's crazy, basically. She believes the whole story of the, conception, of the Immaculate Conception, and all of that, and that happened to her. And I would go around the churches, and I kid you not, each church I went to, and I was just wearing a black coat. I wasn't looking like the nuns or the priests, they would talk to me like I'm one of them. They would go and say, oh, do you want to pray in front of Mary? here. And it was just really interesting because I was so immersed into that world. It became part of me. So then I started to create rituals to get out of character. So rituals to get into character and rituals to get out of character, so that I can put it on and boom, say goodbye. One time we went backstage after seeing Amy's View, and Dame Judi Dench made me sob. I literally sat in the chair at the end of the play and I was crying. And Brian said, let's go, because otherwise she's going to be gone. We want to say hi to her. I said, okay, okay. So I went backstage and she's already showered in her bathrobe. And she said, oh, darling, it's so nice to see you. And oh, have you been crying? And I said, yes, yes, I have. And she said, but that's marvelous, darling. That's marvelous. And I just thought, how could she go from this to being like so the other? And that was maybe one of the first wake-up calls where I went like, you do not have to suffer to play a character who suffers.
True.
In the moment.
That's it.
And the thing about our nervous system and our body is the body doesn't distinguish between pretend or real.
True.
So if you are going into a really tense emotional character, you're carrying that with you. So you need to take pristine care of yourself. So yoga, meditation, pranayama, cleanses, rituals. There are so many things that we can do in order for the characters not to take over and to make our lives unhappy. Yeah.
Well, when you have that set up, it'll be a nice thing to have another interview and you can explain it a little bit.
Yes.
That's really,
yes.
really great. Have you ever thought of this being a plan B? Because I heard once Will Smith say, you're not supposed to have plan Bs because it takes away all your focus from the original goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know that not every, I mean, we have a world full of creative people, and we are many actors and actresses, and we all do not live of our job. So many other people have to have a plan B because otherwise it's a bit hard not to live off of it. So do you agree or not?
I never had a plan B. It was so clear to me that this is the only thing I ever wanted to do. There was maybe a moment when I was 13 where I wanted to be a vet for horses, but that was just like because I was so in love with horses. But what happened is I was very lucky. So I went from television in Germany. Then I started in the theater in Switzerland, in Zurich. I was in repertory for 2 years as an ingenue. Then I went back to studying and came to New York, studied for a couple of years. Then I went back to Germany, immediately did a movie and a play, and ended up auditioning for the Théâtre du Soleil. I ended up in Paris for 2 years. We went on tour. Somebody saw me in Austria, so I ended up in Austria for 2 years. So I was always working. There was really never a time where I wasn't working, because I think it had to do with my conviction that I was an actress. When I was 9 years old, I was very convinced, like I was an actress. Oh, you're an actress? Have you studied? Not yet, but I will, What happened though, once I had my first child, Orson, we were living in the Hollywood Hills, and Brian was working a lot, and I had the baby fat on me. Now I have the COVID fat on me. And like you're having a baby, you're nursing, and I did this prenatal and postnatal yoga training with Guru Mukh in LA. It helped me a lot with my pregnancy and afterwards, and nothing was happening. I didn't have an agent. I couldn't get arrested. And, you know, I was in my 30s and I was like, oh my God, I'm now too old to be discovered in Hollywood. I have an accent. I'm too fat for, you know, I'll never be like a skinny Hollywood actress. So what am I going to do? Shall I give this up? And there was this moment where I thought, Susan Batson always said to me or to the class, if there is anything else you can do, do that. For me, there was never anything else, but yoga made me really happy, and sharing the goodness and seeing people just come in this way and then go out feeling good about themselves. So I loved that. And I thought to myself, could I be happy doing something else? And I thought, I think I could maybe teach yoga and at least not be unhappy. I would, of course, miss acting, but at least, you know, this is something I could do. And the moment I said that, I was hired to do Deadwood, and I did a short film, and I auditioned for a play that also Brian was in the West End, Rock and Roll by Tom Stoppard. So from saying, yes, I can do something else, all this work came. So I went, okay, I guess it's not time for me. And, you know, I'm very passionate about yoga. I'm passionate about meditation. I'm passionate about empowering women. I'm passionate about actors. So there's a lot of things that I can do, but I keep getting work. So knock on wood.
Okay, it's not going to happen. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But the thing, I think that your secret really, because the problem, especially with the new generations, the problem is that you have always known that you wanted to act, be it in theater, TV, or film. You really didn't care. You wanted to act. Most actors who try, who go on to film first, they just find it, you know, if I don't act in a film, I'm going to have to wait. No, go to a theater. The thing is, you have to act. Who cares if it's a theater, if it's TV, if it's on film? If you like to act, you like to act even in the streets. You don't care. It's acting. Your passion is acting in general. So I think that the problem of what I was telling you about the Plan Bs is because they just focus on one thing. They just want that one. But they don't see that there are other things that can give them the same thing in the meantime.
Well, there is actors who are really passionate about actually tapping into character and exploring a character and telling a story. And there are those who want to be stars. And there are those who just, you know, think that being an actor means having the good life. And, you know, so there are very different types of actors.
True.
And there are those people for whom it's a vocation and not a profession. And I'm certainly one of them. So I see it as a blessing. Not everybody has that. You know, there's also a lot of people who are just beautiful. And so people go, you should be an actor. Oh, yeah? But it's not really coming from the inside. It's just something that somebody said, oh, yeah, I guess I could be an actor. Or models who then think, I'm a model, but I'm deeper than that. So let me be an actor. Like horses for courses, you know?
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
I mean, unfortunately, nowadays, I think that what comes forward in these acting schools or even agents is that when, you know, it's just no, it's, you know, it's you're good. No, I always say there are 2-3 types of actors. One that was born an actor, one that is how you call it, how you say it in English. Oh my God, I forgot.
Say it in Spanish, maybe I'll.
Diamante en bruto.
Oh, a raw diamond.
A raw diamond that you need to polish
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of acting and this acting classes and things like that. They become huge. And then there is the person who has no talent at all. And someone has to tell them, because a pretty face does not make a great talent.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
some of them have great careers though.
I know, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Well, I would love for you to tell us all about Third Wing.
Oh, Third Wing is a creation of Cameron Bossert. He's an actor, director, writer, and editor. And he created a website or an online theater film community called Third Wing. So go to thirdwing.watch, not .com, but .watch.
Okay.
Third Wing. And I met Cameron when he was the editor of a web series that I directed called Messy.
Mm-hmm.
He was our editor, so I worked very closely with him. I didn't even know that he was a director and did other things. And so one day he called me up and he said, I wrote this series and I would like to have it read by actors. And, if you want to be part of it, I have this German character, Greta. It's all about the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the reading. It is fantastically written, so smart, so brilliant. So I was very excited about the project. Then and then I get this email from him that he's creating this Third Wing. I didn't know that he was affiliated with this theater. So he had a whole theater company, was working with actors, doing The Female Genius, a very feminist play. And I just contributed money to it because I figured this is great. So you have a yearly prescription, which is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like 4-5 Starbucks lattes, and then you can you can stream theater, plays, film, like TV. So far, all shows that he created. So when this pandemic happened, he was working on my reel and is still working on my reel. I'm still waiting for some footage from Son of the South. And we were talking and, he said that he's really depressed. And I said, I think you need a project, and he's like, yeah, but what are you going to do? I created Third Wing. He created Third Wing before the pandemic, which is in a way brilliant because he created something that can be live streamed so everybody in the world can see it. And I said, this is genius. And it would be easy. And he said, yeah, and I don't want to do like a series that is all online on Zoom. I hate that shit. And I said, but the United Nations script would be perfect for online because all these episodes are meetings between the United Nations people, and they could be online. Why not? And he went like, okay. A day later, he sends me a message, sends Matthew Sanders, great friend and actor, a message, and Tamara Savants, we all worked together before, and says, hey, Nicole had this idea, and I really love this idea.
Nicole had
so could we, would you be interested in doing this? So we recorded it all in our homes. Matthew was in Switzerland. Tamara was here in New York. I was in New York. And we recorded it, and it's up now on thirdwing.watch. It is brilliant. Like, both my agents here and in Germany were like, it's so good. Can you put this on your reel? And this is something I recorded with my iPhone and online. So it's about the writing. It's about the writing. It's about the acting, and it's about the storytelling. And he's an excellent editor, so he edited it in a way that is really exciting to watch. Like, you want to watch the next episode, and we're filming the 4th episode, which I'm in again next week, I think. Yeah.
But it is interesting because, I mean, as I said, there are so many things that have been reinvented in culture-wise that I have a friend who played in a short film that was made during confinement, and each actor was shooting from their own places, and
Yeah.
then it was just put up, and it's winning, I mean, quite a bit of prizes and festivals. It's just,
Ah, fantastic.
well, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like we usually say, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's, I mean, it's not because you can't be there that it's not feasible. I mean, you can do it. And that's really,
Well,
really important.
well, I think there should be a festival that is called Pandemic Festival. Or
There is one in Spain.
there is one.
Yes, I have a friend who was finalist, two friends who were finalists in the festival.
Oh, send me a link. Maybe we can submit third wing to. I mean, the
Yeah, I
United
will.
States.
I will.
Yeah.
There was a film, and it was quite cool. It was quite cool. I mean, it was really short, very, very, very short films. But this friend of mine, I mean, it's just like he's trying to commit suicide, and then he thinks about it better and doesn't do it. But it's really, really sharp. I mean, each person just doing this on their own, or just two, and some it's a two, some other two. It's a couple. They won the festival because they were quite smart. They had a balcony, so it seemed like, you know, it was a neighbor with a neighbor, but really, I mean, they're living in the same house, but still it seemed like it's a neighbor with a neighbor, and you know, and
Yeah.
they fall
Yeah.
in love through the window, and they can't touch, they can only see themselves. It's really, really
Oh,
nice, but
cute.
it was really cool. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, oh my God, time flies so fast. You know what? I really hate this Instagram with just 1 hour thing. I would be talking with you for hours and hours. And I don't think people that are watching us, I mean, they would love to see this and hear this too. So I'm going to have to make it a bit short because we only have 5 more minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any upcoming projects after the pandemic that you are able to talk about?
Yeah. So I haven't yet signed the contract, so I do not want to say what it is, but it's a film, and it is shooting in New Mexico,
Oh,
and I'm doing it with a female artist. She is a fine artist. She does in video art, installation art, somebody's career who I have been admiring for 20 years. And so this is coming up, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about it. So, but what I can say, maybe it's written by Jean-Claude Carrière, so
oh,
it's a big deal. Yes, so I'm over the moon, and so far it looks like we are actually going to be filming in New Mexico in September, in mid-September. That's one of the films, and then I have a film with two filmmakers in New York City, something that was going to be shot in, we were going to shoot in, let me think, May. So that might come up very soon now. So those are the two things. I'm also doing a little film that we're shooting on Thursday, also in quarantine, with the whole family, benefiting the charity No Kids Hungry.
okay.
So it's raising money to feed children. And yeah, I'm doing it with my husband, Brian Cox, my son, Orson, and Torin Cox.
Wow.
So that's going to be exciting.
Is it their, I mean, not Brian, obviously, but your kids, is it the first time they're going to be acting, or have they done things?
Well, they are at Frank Sinatra High School for the Arts. My son, Orson, is going to go on to Brooklyn College now, if it opens. But, you know, that's the idea. And Torn is still in that school for drama. But they were both featured in Remember Me in
Oh,
Spain. So I got the whole family to be in it. But this is the first, like, really speaking roles that they have. It's written by a wonderful writer called Melis Acker. So please follow her, Melis Acker,
Melis Acker.
E-E-R. She's Turkish, and Tatiana Pandiani is directing it. She asked me to be in it. Tatiana is from Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually doing, yes, I also forgot to mention, Tatiana is also directing The Cherry Orchard, which I'm playing Ranevskaya, Madame Ranevskaya in it. And we are showing it on live at 5 o'clock on Friday. So if people are interested, they can go on my Instagram, go to the bio, and in the bio, instead of a website, there's a link to sign up to get the Zoom information for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. I will definitely. That's really, really cool. Oh my God, 3 minutes. I'm just getting so nervous and impatient. I don't want this to end. No, I'm gonna have to talk seriously with these people of Instagram. This is no way. Okay, just really, really fast. I mean, people who don't know this, well, they don't know it. I know because I've been following you and watching you, and I assume it would have been very, very different living this confinement in your penthouse in New York than where you are now.
Yeah, right now I'm actually visiting in Brooklyn. We're picking up my son's girlfriend. But yeah, we've been in upstate. We have a lovely house in the countryside. It is like a little vortex of beauty. It is a strange experience. I am grateful every day because I have nature around me. I have a lot more work because I'm taking care of a whole house and of a family and cooking and cleaning and all of that stuff. It's much more than here in the city when everybody goes out and does their work and gets their food outside. You know, it's very, very different. So that's been a big change. A lot of silver linings for us. I have loved, I have to say, the quarantine, and the pandemic has permitted my husband to rest a little more. You know, he's still doing tons of things. He's doing ADR almost every day. He's doing interviews all the time. Now with the Emmy nomination, I'm sure he has interviews up the wazoo coming up. So a lot of silver linings, and I started to teach yoga online 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 1 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time, and have kind of found a community in that, and it feels good to give something back because I have so much. I feel like I'm overflowing, and this is my way of giving back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the end. We
This
just have
is it.
to say yes. It's just I would love just to thank you so much, Nicole, for taking the time. Love
Thank
for
you.
you sharing, and just say bye to everyone because it's off. It's off.